I mean, it's,
Up to
Yeah,
you, Lisa.
Yeah, it's up to you. I think it will pass. The complexity is if for whatever
Okay.
reason it fails, then it's an
if it
irrelevant
fails,
item.
we can go back to it. I'm gonna
Go
read.
back to, okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. It is 7:33, and I would like to call to order the September 14th meeting of the Common Council. If you would please rise and join me in our Pledge of Allegiance to our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with
with
liberty.
liberty
and
and
justice
justice for all.
Thank you. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Burnett,
Present.
Ms. Johnson,
Present.
Mr. Langella,
Present.
Mr. Sacchinelli,
Present.
Ms. Smith,
Here.
Mr. Huvelman,
Present.
Mr. Roberts, Ms. Rabulis,
Here.
Ms. Young,
Here,
Mr. Kides, Mr. Theodorides, Mr. Keegan,
Here.
Mr. Serenides,
Here.
Mr. Livingston,
Here.
Ms. Shanahan.
Here,
You have 13 present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of the regular meeting of August 10th, 2021. Do I have a motion? Minutes are moved by Ms. Revolus. Any corrections, omissions? Mr. Livingston.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On page 6, under, or the third from the paragraph from the bottom, it says, Mr. Kides praised the District D representatives who brought the item forward. It should be District E as an elephant.
Okay. Any other corrections, deletions, omissions? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes as corrected? Any objections? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is public participation. Mr. Manzi, is there anybody that signed ready to address the council?
I do not see anyone. If anyone would like to address the council, please raise your hand electronically now. And I will unmute you and just state your name and address. I do not see anyone, Mayor Rilling, but I do see Matthew Sapienza. Is he supposed to be on the panel or?
I'm not
Yes.
sure. I do.
Mario?
Mr.
you know?
Capola?
Should I bring Matthew over?
Yes.
Mr. Capola?
Okay.
Okay, Ms. King, do you have any correspondence that needs to be read into the record?
No, Mayor, nothing.
Does any council person have any correspondence that they feel needs to be read into the record? Seeing none, we will close public participation and we will move on to resignations and appointments. We have an appointment of Sonia Oliver to the Tree Advisory Commission. Do I have a motion? Ms. Young.
Mayor, I'd like to move that item forward, Ms. Sonia Oliver, for the appointment to the Tree Advisory Committee. As you know, Sonia is a long resident of Norwalk, grew up here, and just judging from her brief bio, which I think was very, very light and very humble. But Miss Oliver, along with her other family members, her sister Sharon Stewart used to be on the council. And so for me, she comes from a family that is dedicated to the city of Norwalk. And Sonia is no different. She served on the Fair Rent Commission. She is the president of Sono Gardens, where she lives as board of directors, and she is currently the chairperson of District B. But Sonia has some other talents that I just feel like I need to share, and I'm sure she would be a little, I don't know if she'd like the idea of me sharing it, but Sonia does contracting work. And she led the renovations of Sono Gardens, which was no small undertaking. She actually was the contractor. And I learned that just a few days ago. So she's got a lot of hidden talents and skills. And I think she will put those skills to work on the tree advisory committee. And I'll tell you, when Erica Kipp from working with the Department of Public Works and writing the grant for to get some trees. And I called Sonia to see if she would be interested in that, having tree plantings at Sono Garden. She said, absolutely, yes, and jumped at that opportunity. And I think from that introduction, she has proven herself to be a vital resource in South Norwalk for her development and for the community. And so I think Ms. Kipp saw in her, as well as others from DPW, that she would be a great addition to the tree advisory committee. And I know that she will do a wonderful job. So
Thank you. Very impressive. Any further comments?
Yes, Mayor, really?
Mr. Burnett?
Thank you. I believe Sonia Oliver who is, as mentioned, a concerned and active member, very long-standing active member in the community, will be a welcome addition to the Tree Advisory Commission. I think Sonia is concerned about the overall landscape of Norwalk, not just South Norwalk, but overall Norwalk, which is very impressive. I have found Sonia to ask very engaging and thought-provoking questions that cause people to think and really think about their involvement with Norwalk and how it affects the entire city. Again, not just South Norwalk, but the entire city. And I think this is the type of questioning and rationale we need with the Tree Advisory Commission. So I truly support her appointment to this position.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. Any further comment? Yes, indeed. We know the importance of our tree canopy, and we want to thank Sonia Oliver for her willingness to participate and to volunteer her time. So having said that, all in favor of Sonia Oliver to the Tree Advisory Commission? Any opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. I don't know if Miss Oliver has joined us.
She is, Mayor. She's, I will unmute her.
There she is. Yes.
Hello, thank you, Darlene, and thank you, Greg, for those kind words. And thank you to the entire council for agreeing to the appointment. I absolutely look forward to serving on this commission. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, actually. As Darlene said, I do have a lot of hidden talents, and I'm learning more and more about these talents as each day goes by. And I actually found that I do enjoy purchasing trees and planting shrubs and planting bushes. I don't know what happened to me over the years. So I'm looking forward to working on the commission. And Greg, I don't know if you remember this, but we coached basketball together, your son and my son.
Really?
So that's
coached together? Oh, really? Okay.
why when our boys were young.
Okay. I think we probably had a winning team. Had to.
Well, they were actually young, and they were in that little peanut thing. We had to each coach different groups all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got a lot of little hidden talents that I keep to myself. But thanks, everyone, and I really appreciate the support and the nomination and the appointment.
And congratulations to you.
Thank you again. Good night.
thank you, Sonia. Good night.
Good night.
Next item on the agenda, Mayor's remarks. First of all, a Norwalk vaccine update. You know that we have our advisory going out every Friday with metrics and comments. alerting the public and advising the public exactly what the situation is in Norwalk and where there are vaccine clinics and where they can get tested. So currently about 66% of our residents are fully vaccinated. It's important to remember that those under 12 years are not eligible yet. We're hoping that will come soon. We continue to encourage those who are eligible to get vaccinated as soon as possible. Those who are not vaccinated are 5 times higher risk of the COVID-19 infection and 10 years higher risk of COVID-associated death in Connecticut. Across the state, nearly 75% of current hospitalizations are those who are unvaccinated. Next, this weekend, starting next weekend, starting September 23rd through Sunday, September 26th, there'll be the Norwalk Boat Show held on Beach Road at Calf Pasture Beach at the Cove Marina property. There will be a car safety seat event in the parking lot of Norwalk City Hall on Saturday, September 25th from 9 to 2. Have your car seat checked for free by a certified child passenger safety technician from Yale New Haven Health. You'll also learn how to correctly install your seat and safely secure your child. No appointment is needed. Some of those seats are very difficult, very technical, and they have certain things that have to be done to make sure that they're safe. So these people will come down and help you do that, and it's critically important. On Friday, September 17th, the Norwalk Historical Society Museum at 141 East Avenue will celebrate their completion of the outdoor area, which includes event space on their patio. It's going to be from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Be sure to bring your own lawn chair. Yom Kippur begins tomorrow at sundown. We wish all of those of the Jewish faith a happy holiday and a meaningful fast. Now we have Norwalk has a richly diverse city population of many cultures, customs, and languages. Very much present within the city is the Haitian community, well represented by Council Member Diana Revolus, who is also Vice President of the Haitian American Collaborative, and also the first Haitian American council person in the history of our city. So I would ask her at this time to make some comments. Ms. Revolus.
Mic check. Okay. I thank you first and foremost to our mayor for the acknowledgement. Secondly, to my peers who were just open and willing to make a statement to our third largest community here. Usually you want to write something, but I speak better from the heart. So I want to talk to a community that has gone through a bit of an emotional stance, and especially when we talk about mental health. Of this year, July 7, 2021, the assassination of Jovenel Moise happened. Shortly thereafter, an island still working from an earthquake of 2010, January 19th, directly suffered another earthquake on August 14th, 2021, which is a date. August 14th is actually quite historic to that island as well. For those in our community who are suffering not only from loss, but from worry, from devastation here or there, and for those there and abroad who sit to help and unite, one of our stances is Union fait la force. So at this point, union is everything, not only within our diaspora, but within our communities overall. This is part of the Norwalk community. So being a part of the Haitian American Collaborative, we have taken upon ourselves to help give a safe and honest and trusted, that's the word I'm looking for, area to give your contributions and your help. Understanding that it's not only financial, but things like tents, beds, bath, toilets, infrastructure has been devastated. Things can only go in by land, by air, or by sea. And even once you get there, getting it inland is a difficulty. So I ask for those who want to help to reach out. If we can pop up the letter that we have. There's a letter that we have that greatly explains what Haiti has gone through, avenues that we thought were helpful in the past that weren't, and what we plan to do now. So to get this quickly, we have a link that will connect you to our our GoFundMe. We're also connecting to our registries. So things like diapers, things like combs, brushes, Tylenol, over-the-counter Tylenol, pads, basic necessity things that we're trying to get to Haiti. I also think other organizations that have come in support. We have storage units in Stamford, Norwalk, and in Bridgeport now. So we ask just quickly that if you need help or you are willing to help, we ask that you come, you type in, I know you can't click right now. And for those in our community, we hear you, we see you, we feel you, you can remove. And we just thank you for not only being a strong part of this community and growing Norwalk, but we wanted to give an open word and heart to understanding the impact of what my island, our island, we are all going through. So in likeness of time, I think everyone here, we bring our hearts out to those who are quietly suffering, who are quietly concerned. Haitian American Collaborative all actually come from the south of Haiti. I just recently found my aunt, so I can understand these silent worries behind your mind. And we're here to just say we understand you, we see you, and we are all here willing to help. So the Haitian American Collaborative, you can find us online on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, we're everywhere. The Haitian Heritage at gmail.com. You can email me directly. And I thank you for your time, everyone. Union Fela Force again, but that doesn't only mean that you're Haitian to be united. We stand alone, we stand together in this. And I thank Norwalk for standing together in our devastation currently, but we have historically come up from this.
Thank you, Ms. Revolution. Well said. Ms. Young?
So I just have to echo what the mayor said. Well done. Well said, Diane, and I appreciate you doing this. And I don't know, Mayor, maybe as a suggestion, if it hasn't already been done, that it could be posted on the city's website, just so that it's a constant thing, and maybe keep that at the forefront, I think, as the weeks go by, would be a great help, I think, so.
Very good. Thank you. That's a great idea, and that will happen. We also ask for your prayers for those who are suffering even today. Please visit the HaitianHeritage.com to support a Haitian Disaster Relief Fund. That's what we do as Americans. So thank you, Diana. Thank you, Darlene. And we'll keep the Haitian community in our prayers. Mr. Sachinelli, the floor is yours.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I also want to echo those remarks. Ms. Revoluce, those were, I thank you for preparing those words and preparing that document. And I have to say, I'm honored to say that I know the first Haitian American counselor here in Norwalk. So that's fantastic. Moving forward tonight, the consent calendar is going to be read by Ms. Lisa Shanahan.
Okay, great. I'm going to,
Shanahan, it's yours.
can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. 6, reports, departments, boards, and commissions, corporation councils under A, authorization for settlement, Athanasia Diaz versus City of Norwalk, claim A05627. Number 2, authorization to settle claim Flight Nathan versus City of Norwalk at all, docket number FST-CV1960444446-S. Authorization for discussion settlement is O'Leary versus City of Norwalk, claim number A09424. Section 7, Common Council Committees. A, Recreation Parks Cultural Affairs Committee. 1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into a contract for tennis and basketball court renovations, project 4141 at Matthews Park and Woodward Park Avenue Park, with Sports Tech Construction Corporation in an amount not to exceed $427,411, funds from accounts noted. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents necessary to consent to an assignment and assumption agreement by and between Norwalk Sailing School, LLC as a signor, and Norwalk Sailing School and Norwalk Community Sailing as a signee concerning the license agreement by and between the City of Norwalk as licensor and the Norwalk Sailing School, LLC as licensee, 2021 pursuant to Article 6 of said license agreement. Number 3, Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with TD and Sons, Inc. for project RNP 21-1, Brian McMahon Athletic Field conversion for a sum not to exceed $868,065, which is the bid base. 288,778, which is alternate 1 sports lighting, and 77,000 alternate 3 protective netting. Accounts noted. Authorize the interim and/or the Director of Recreation and Parks to execute change orders on the contract with TD and Sons, Inc., project RNP 2021-1, Brian McMahon Athletic Field conversion for a sum not to exceed $123,383.40. Accounts noted. Number 6, authorize the interim and/or Director of Recreations and Park to execute change orders on contract with Field Turf USA, sole source, for the synthetic turf surface at the Brian McMahon Athletic Field conversion for a sum not to exceed $20,000. Accounts noted. Number 7, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute addendum number 1 with Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. for project number 3985, turf softball field dated April 24th, 2020 for a sum not to exceed $16,500 for construction administrative services. Accounts noted. 7B, Land Use and Building Management Committee. We're going to skip that because those are off consent. Paragraph C, Public Works Committee. 1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to accept the proposed private sanitary sewer extension at 440 Newtown Avenue, 78 Cranberry Road, Able Construction, proposed 15-unit conservation development. Through technical analyses, it was confirmed that the city's sanitary sewer collection and wastewater treatment plan can accommodate the additional sanitary flow generated from the proposed development. 2A, technical correction of the Common Council action of July 13, 2021, item 7, capital B, 3, to add account number 0920-6030-577-C0657 designated for Attain Project DPW 2021-2 material testing. C2B, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Attain for project DPW 2021-2 material testing for a period of 1 year, billable on a unit price basis for a sum not to exceed $30,000 with an option to extend for 2 additional terms for 1 year each. Accounts noted. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, no, this is number 3, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute the First Amendment to April 13th, 2021 agreement between the City of Norwalk and the Grasso Companies, LLC for project PM 2021-1 pavement management program for an amount not to exceed $1 million. Accounts noted. Number 5, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents related to the state project 102-364 West Avenue traffic adaptive signal project. Whereas the city of Norwalk has initiated a project to upgrade traffic signals on a portion of West Avenue and Belden Avenue to traffic adaptive signals. And whereas the city of Norwalk has published a news release, mailed a copy of the news release to the required officials and agencies, and mailed a notification letter to abutting property owners announcing the proposed transportation safety project known as State Project 102-364 West Avenue Traffic Adaptive Signal Project. And whereas the construction phase will be funded utilizing 90% federal funds and 10% municipal funds. And whereas a 30-day public comment period was provided to allow interested parties to voice their concerns. And whereas no concerns have been raised by the residents or from the public during the comment period. Now therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Norwalk, find that State Project 102-364 West Avenue Traffic Adaptive Signal Project is in the best interest of the City of Norwalk and will provide for the convenience and safety of the traveling public. Number 6, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an amendment to the September 8, 2020 agreement between the City of Norwalk and Anna Mine Kirby LLC for project number 4048 on-call surveying services. The amendment is to extend the agreement for a period of 1 year at the sum not to exceed $150,000 with an option to extend for 1 additional term for 1 year. Accounts noted. 7D, Finance and Claims Committee. Number 1, accept and approve the reports of the Claims Committee dated August 12, 2021. Number 2, for informational purposes only, narrative on tax collections dated August 12, 2021. Number 3, for information purposes only, monthly tax collectors report dated July 2021. Number 4, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, execute any and all agreements and other documents necessary to apply for and accept the grant award of $50,818.18 from the fiscal year 2020 FEMA assistance to the firefighters grant program. Funds to be used for physical fitness equipment to enhance firefighter health and safety. City match responsibility is 10% of the grant award. Account is noted. Number 5, accept and approve the report of the Claims Committee dated September 9, 2021. Number 6, for informational purposes only, narrative on tax collection dated September 9, 2021. Number 7, for information purposes only, monthly tax collectors report dated August 2021. Number 8, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents necessary to consent and approve the food and beverage services license agreement dated March 30, 2021 by and between Oak Hills Park Authority and Dry Dock Smokin' Aces LLC, conditioned upon said license agreement being amended to expressly provide the city of Norwalk with the right to terminate the license agreement without cause upon 90 days advance written notice to Dry Dock Smokin' Aces LLC in such additional terms as Corporation Counsel's office may require. Number 9, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all agreements and all other documents with ESO for the licensing purchase for 3 years and onboarding of records management software for the fire department on a sole source procurement basis for the contract amount not to exceed $58,665.15 from the account noted. Number 10, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute agreement with Roll Call Technologies LLC for Project 4083, City of Norwalk Police Department Extra Duty Management System. Number 7, E, Planning Committee. 1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to sign all forwarding documentation required by HUD for the submission of the PY 46 CAPER and approve for the advancement of the PY 46 CAPER to HUD. Number 7, F, Health and Public Safety. Item number 2, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents necessary to apply for and accept a grant funding for Coronavirus Relief Fund, CRF, administered by the Connecticut Office of Policy and Management. That's the consent calendar for this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Shanahan. I'm gonna now take a roll call vote. Councilperson Greg Burnett,
Aye.
Councilperson Dominique Johnson,
Aye.
Councilperson Manny Langella,
Aye.
Councilperson Barbara Smith,
Yes.
Councilperson David Huvelman,
Aye.
Councilperson Kadeem Roberts,
Aye.
Councilperson Diana Revolus,
Aye.
Councilperson Darlene Young,
Yes.
Councilperson Thomas Keegan,
Yes.
Councilperson George Serenides,
Yes.
Councilperson Tom Livingston,
Yes.
Councilperson Lisa Shanahan,
Yes.
and Councilperson Nick Sacinelli. Yes, that's unanimous. Mr. Mayor, back to you. You're muted, sir. Oh, Mr. Mayor, I think you're still muted. Can you hear me?
There we go. That's the new phrase for 2020 and 2021. You're muted.
Absolutely.
Thanking Ms. Shanahan for the wonderful reading of the consent calendar. She must be very tired. We'll move on to the calendar now. Item 7A5, Ms. Young.
Now I'm muted. Thank you, Mayor. Number 5, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Field Turf USA, Inc., sole source for the synthetic turf surface at Brian McMahon Athletic Field conversion for a sum not to exceed $220,487.90, the base bid, $40,000 alternate to upgrade to FTHD 57 with Cool Play, account numbers noted. So we move that item. So I think we have some discussion here. Mayor, I'm not sure how we would like to proceed. Maybe I think Ken is on the call. And what I'll say is that we had a lot of discussion during our caucus meeting about this item. But if anyone has any further questions for Ken, we can ask them or we can take a vote.
Ms. Shanahan.
Yes, I wanted to make a statement. I guess we did have a long discussion last night in our caucus meeting, and I agreed that I was going to represent some of the views that were expressed. And what I'd like to say at the outset is that I'm an athlete myself, and I have two daughters who played soccer throughout high school and one who continued to play soccer in college. I absolutely love field sports, and especially for young women. I love what playing sports teaches us about our capabilities and our resilience. The Brian McMahon High School girls softball team has been waiting for a new field for years. As I understand it, this field is state of the art. Finally, these girls will have the field they deserve to play on, and I applaud the completion of this project. And I want to see all of our fields in the city of Norwalk well maintained, fully used, and available to the children of our city for athletic play. We have work to be done to get to our system of field allocation to the place it needs to be. And we have work to do to keep the level of the maintenance of the fields where they should be. And we need to look more closely at the budget for recs and parks and make sure that we're giving this department that does so much hard and good work the funds it needs to meet these important needs. But with all of that said, the reason why this item is off consent this evening is because a number of us on council have begun to question whether turf fields are as safe as they have been represented to us to be. There seems to be conflicting research in the field to determine the levels of toxicity that these fields possess. I'm hearing some background. Does somebody have their TV on? The crumb rubber on fields are said to contain petrochemical products that are carcinogenic if they're consumed. These small pieces of rubber migrate off the fields in shoes and in people's clothes to people's homes. They migrate off the fields in heavy rains into our water wells and into our waterways. The chemicals that are used to maintain the fields also contain some toxic chemicals that can get into our waterways and really even into our children's skins through cuts and bruises. The turf fields themselves are said to be more dangerous for athletes in that there's a reportedly higher incidence of concussions and knee injuries on turf fields rather than grass fields. And even more concerning perhaps to me is that we're taking some of our most precious green open spaces and covering them in plastic, which has detrimental impacts by creating heat islands close to schools, water management issues, and not to mention environmental risks to our local wildlife. And finally, the disposal of these fields at the end of their useful life has become an issue in many other jurisdictions. So for all of these reasons, I cannot vote yes to install an additional turf field in Norwalk until we do more research to reassure ourselves that these fields do not pose a serious risk to our children, to our water wells, and to our waterways.
Thank you, Ms. Shanahan. Do we have any other comments or any questions for Mr. Hughes? Mr. Hoovelman?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Shanahan for her statement. I too agree with the bulk of what Ms. Shanahan was talking about. I'm concerned about the amount of plastic that we're using now and covering these large green open spaces. And I feel that it would be irresponsible of me to vote yes. But as I have voted in the past for other turf fields, I'm going to be abstaining tonight. And moving forward, I think that we have to take a serious look at what we are doing, what these fields are made of, and what we are doing to our environment by the use of these products.
Thank you, Mr. Hoovelman. Any further comment or discussion? Seeing none.
So Mayor, I didn't know, I can't tell
Go ahead,
who
Ms.
else
Young.
wanted to say something. So, you know, I understand and with my fellow council members who made that statement, but I don't want it to sound as if those of us who move forward with this are being irresponsible. We all care very much about health and welfare of our young people and the community at large. And as was stated, This has been a 2-year process, and we've gone through the public hearing process. We've delayed that whole project to include and listen based on the comments that we heard from the loudest voices in the community. And as was shared, in our caucus meeting, there haven't been any other reporting on the state level or federal level yet with the products that we're choosing to put into the field. And actually, we changed the material based on the response from the community. It might not be the best choice, but that is where we are right now. And we did make a commitment to move forward together as a council to address future field and turf installments and what that would look like. And so I appreciate everybody's, comments. It's not an easy decision that we come to, but it's one that we felt we needed to move forward with, particularly because the young ladies have been waiting a long time for this to happen. And it might not be the best choice. And we are very conscious of that. And moving forward together, we will try and do more digging and do more due diligence with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Young. Mr. Hooverman.
Yes, I just wanted to say that the responsibility, what I was referring to is my own personal responsibility in voting for that. And I meant to cast no aspersions on anyone else. I know that the council is very, very hard, that this has been in process for a long time and that these girls need this field and it's important. And so I just want to clarify that.
Thank you, Mr. Hooverman. Ms. Smith.
Actually, I believe Ms. Revoluce had her hand up first.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Revoluce.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that, first of all, Councilwoman Young, Parks and Recs, you guys do an amazing job. I am a Brian McMahon parent, and I love our kids. I love our sports. I also am just going to speak on being newly here that, the argument of turf has been well before me, and being what we call a little bit of a tree hugger, just my naivete on the item at hand would also put me in the place of abstention. That being said, it's not the fact that I do not think you have done a diligent job in the ones that have been laid already in the research you guys have done. I proclaim for my own needing to know more and to no one's regard, right or left, of the pros and cons for our planet and for our community, right? So I just wanted to explain that. But again, our Parks and Recs is led diligently. Our council thinks of our community with great responsibility. And I just want to give that out there, that it's not towards any accord to my own of understanding more about what it would cause for our kids.
Thank you, Ms. Revoluce. Ms. Smith.
Yeah, I just wanted to take a minute to thank Ms. Shanahan for putting together all of the information and so eloquently expressing the concerns of the caucus last night. Also, thank you to Ms. Young for so eloquently expressing, how difficult this is. We want to make sure that the girls have that field, and we had been reassured. If I think of, past votes on turf fields, like going back to West Rocks, we had been reassured by, the current research that, all the universities that have medical schools are using the same type of turf, and, that it had been deemed safe. But, there are more and more articles that we're reading that express concerns about the turf fields. And so, I am going to support this tonight. I think it's important for our athletes, for our families who very much want this, and to have fields to play on. But moving forward, I think we just have a lot more work to do and a lot more research to do. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Further comments?
And if no one has anything, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mayor. I'll let whoever that is speak. I can't see.
Mr. Burnett.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. I will be supporting the approval of this turf field, as I do believe that it's greatly needed to advance the activities at Brian McMahon High School. But I also support taking a pause to do more research, more evaluation, obtaining more knowledge. Mr. Hughes, Ken Hughes, has provided us with quite a bit of information, and I thank him for that. And we need more of that type of information so we can make informative decisions as it relates to turf fields going forward within Norwalk. So I truly support taking a pause as we do the due diligence as it relates to turf fields in Norwalk.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. Ms. Young, did you?
If no one else wants to speak, so I just want to make it clear, I appreciate it.
Can anybody not see me here?
Mr.
I
Serenini?
can't see you, George. I'm sorry.
Thank you. All right. I was waiting patiently, but now I have to say something. I also just want to say that I will be supporting these turf fields. Being a former athlete, my children all being athletes and still currently being an athlete, these, to Ken's credit and his whole team's credit, and even all the council people on board here that followed up and did read all the material and constantly look and ask all the questions. It may not be the best way to go, but I think it's currently our best option. And I know Ken has spent a lot of time, he's asked all the right questions, and every time we came up with questions or concerns, he went in even further. He sourced out the best company. This company does them for colleges. Colleges, like Councilperson Smith says, have medical schools on there and all the other science boards on campus that constantly do a study and a review on these fields to make sure that they are the safest and healthiest for our children. So that being said, until something even better comes along, and hopefully it will, I know Ken will always keep his ear to the ground and keep us apprised of anything better coming along. But we do owe it to the parents and the students that have been waiting for this field for my 4 years, I know for sure, and some even longer. So I will be supporting it. And Ken, thank you and your team for all the hard work and all the information you constantly get us.
Any comment, any further discussion? Mr. Roberts.
I just want to say definitely thank you to all council members here. I'm definitely in full support of this. Being someone that was raised in the city of Norwalk, that plays sports on these fields, that got to the honor of playing on the Norwalk High field that we did, and all other fields. I definitely think, it's definitely well deserved to the women to get this at Brad McMahon. But in the same sense, also, these are extracurricular activities for these women. This is how these women, release their energy, how these women find out what they want to do within their college careers and things of that nature. So, something like that is an opportunity for the youth, and that's big to me, being a future educator as well. So I think that is absolutely, in need for these women. Also, I do understand, and I 100% agree as well. We got to do our due diligence when it comes to these fields, guys. It's definitely important. And, I appreciate Ken for all the information that you sent out and the hard work you do. And I think that, moving forward, we just got to work harder and pursue success within our city when it comes to these fields. Thank you so much for the opportunity, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Ms. Revolus. We are not hearing you.
Can you hear me? Still?
Now we can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can't stand this thing. Anyway, but I just wanted to say thank you to Ken too, because I don't want to overlook you as well. I just realized, like, in my thank yous to say naivete, just to because I want more information, right? But you have given a lot of information, so I just want to say thank you as well. I don't want to overlook you. That's all.
Ms. Young, I think it comes back to you now.
So I just wanted to say, I didn't want to give the impression that it was, that I'm against what Ms. Shanahan said, because we agreed on that, I think, in caucus. And I think it's a we. It's not an I, it's not a me, it's we, and it's us as council people that we have to come together to some compromise that we all can live with in the best interest of the folks who elected us and the people we serve. And so I think, this to me right now shows that we are trying to do that, and it's not an easy process. So as we move forward with this, I'm hopeful that it passes, only because now I know from what Councilman Serenity says, it's been longer than 2 years that they've been waiting for this field to be done. And that in itself is a travesty too. So we just need to be more mindful of how we move forward with these issues. That's all I wanted to say, Mayor. And I needed to say, I'm sorry, Mayor, thank you to Ken Hughes for all the work that he has been doing in this interim position as Recreation and Parks Director. I mean, bravo.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Great job.
I
That's it,
echo
Mayor. I'm
those
done. I
remarks.
promise. I'm done, Mayor.
Ken is doing a great job, and he's also providing all the information that we need to make informed decisions. So it's much appreciated. Thank you, Ken. Having said that, we'll call the vote. Ms. King, would you call a roll call vote, please?
Okay, sorry. Mr. Burnett,
Aye.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yes. Aye.
Mr. Langella,
Aye.
Mr. Sachinelli,
Aye.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Huvelman,
Abstain.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Ms. Revulis,
Abstain.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Keegan,
Yes.
Mr. Sirenides,
Yes.
Mr. Livingston,
Yes.
Ms. Shanahan,
Abstain.
three abstentions. Ten yes. Was there a no in there anywhere? No?
No.
Okay.
Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, item 7B, 1A and 1B, Mr. Livingston.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to read and move both items together. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Nordstrom Communications, Inc., DBA Black Box Network Services, to provide streaming capabilities and digital content creation upgrades at the Norwalk Main Library and the Sono Branch Library auditoriums for a total not to exceed $124,968, account noted. And 1B, authorize the library director to issue change orders on contract for a total not to exceed $12,000. Just briefly on these items, because we're fortunate to have Ms. Harris here to talk about them directly, but these two items are for, as noted, the supply and installation of streaming capabilities and digital content creation onto two libraries. They'll allow the libraries to stream programs and to have hybrid attendance, both in-person and remote attendance, which is obviously critically important in these recent days and I guess years and month and year here. But rather than me talk more about it, I thought I'd turn this over to Ms. Harris, who can comment more on this and all the other great things that she's been doing there.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Right. To the mayor and the council, thank you again for allowing me to come before you. Tom basically gave you the gist of everything. We're planning to upgrade our outdated technology, and to the library staff's credit, we began thinking about these things pre-COVID. Once the project is completed, as Tom said, we will be able to stream. And this, helps both our staff as well as the public and those who book our rooms. And for our next phase reopening, which began on Monday, we're now allowing room bookings again. So just to give you a little bit of history, In 2019, we had a total of 2,252 room bookings. So, our rooms are in demand, and it's nice to have updated technology. So, we know some people are not comfortable going out in the public due to COVID, and they're not comfortable, coming into the library. And our technology will allow for the hybrid attendance. So we'll be able to stream, so people can watch our programs in real time from home, while others can attend in person once we resume our in-person programming again.
Okay. Any questions? Mr. Hubelman.
I just simply want to say congratulations to Sherelle. This is another wonderful addition to the libraries, and we look forward to more and more and more.
Thank you so much. And while I would love this to be the Sherelle Show, I have to give kudos to Lori Iflin, and I also have to give kudos to Sharon Connor and her staff for their tremendous support.
Thank you. Further discussion. Ms. Smith.
I'd just like to say thank you for your work, Sherelle. Congratulations. You are on fire. Well done.
We have enough water to put out that fire, though.
That's for sure. Further discussion.
I don't want to sound like a, like on the Sherelle Show. So I'm just going to say ditto to what my fellow council members have said. She just does a phenomenal job. And so, we just look forward to the next and the next and the next idea that you have. And it sounds like you've got a great team.
The team, the team is awesome. Yeah. They're always thinking about the public and ways to just enhance living in Norwalk.
Good job.
Thank you. And any further comment? Seeing, and thank you, Ms. Harris, for all the things that you're doing, bringing new vision and energy to the position of director of the library. So thank you very much.
And thank you all for supporting this capital project.
So,
well, we hope.
Yes, hasn't done yet. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. I have to jump back on the Board of Ed meeting, but thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Next item, item 7B4, Mr. Cyrenides. I'm sorry?
Mayor, really, just a point of clarification. Did we take action on item A6? Which went along with item 5, which was.
That was put back on consent, I believe.
Was it? Okay,
Yes.
I missed that. Okay,
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Item 7. Let's see, where am I now?
7C4.
7B4, Mr.
C4. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move item 7C4 and briefly speak to it. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement between the city of Norwalk and Olmsted Tree and Shrub Care Company, LLC, for the supply and planting of trees and shrubs for an amount not to exceed $130,000 per year. The agreement is for a period of 3 years with an option to extend for 2 additional terms of 1 year each. Account number noted. As many of the other council members know, we've been using Olmsted Tree Company for quite a while now, and we've had a really good experience with them. Not only do they go out, plant the trees, but they also warranty and guarantee the tree for a year. They also water it and maintain it, and if it does not make it for the year, they replace it on their expense. They've been doing a great job for the city so far, and this is just another example of how Norwalk is trying to move forward and progress our tree canopy. Like we've heard from several council people and residents, Norwalk needs more than what it has, and we know that. And this is just another way of how we go forward with more additional funds and address that. Tonight, we also have with us Ms. Valderez and Mr. Sotnick from Public Works that can answer any questions and speak further with any facts that anybody might request. Ms. Shanahan, you're muted.
Okay.
My
I have
turn.
a question. I know that Mr. Livingston wants to say something about trees, but Paul, do they take care of the trees for 1 year or 2 years?
It is 2 years in this proposed contract.
Okay, good.
Look at that. It's even better.
Yeah, I just want to make a clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shanahan.
Mr. Livingston.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to commend DPW, Mr. Sotnick and Mr. Sirenides for this. I mean, it's one more step in bringing and maintaining our urban tree canopy, which is critically important and provides many benefits to the city and its residents. And it's particularly relevant now as we've come through the major storms we've recently had. And we all know, I think, how important trees are to mitigating stormwater damage and flooding. And so it's so important to the city that we continue to plant. And this is a good step in that process. As Mr. Sirenides said, we need to plant more, but we need to start somewhere. And we have been doing it, I know, but I hope we can do a lot more. But this is just critically important to the city, and I really strongly support it. Thank you.
Mr. Keegan.
Yeah, I thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I, echoing what Mr. Livingston said, you wouldn't expect me to be a tree guy, but I am. And I wish we had more money to allocate for the planting of trees. And I'd like to make a plea to Vanessa and to Paul and to whoever is going to decide where these trees are going to be planted. And I hope that they be planted in the center of our city and in South Norwalk, because I think that they're needed there the most. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Keegan. Ms. Shanahan.
Well, I happen to know that Councilman Keegan is a tree hugger because I sat on the Conservation Commission with him. So he and I go way back on hugging trees. I'm glad to hear that. And I just wanted to, kind of give a little preview because with the good hard work of Paul and other members of the DPW staff, we've been working hard on a tree ordinance. Also, many people from the mayor's office. And so keep your eyes and ears open. We have our meeting about that next Tuesday. And we're going to, at that time, introduce our new tree ordinance, which we hope is going to go a long way to protecting more trees in the city of Norwalk, make it harder to take down. Just make it harder for Eversource to come in and clear cut our trees and things like that. So we're really looking forward to the public coming out to see some of the ideas that we'd like to share with people. And Paul, because I get to see your little face down there in the corner of my screen, thank you for all the help you've given us in making this tree ordinance as good as it is right now. And hopefully we'll be back to council to share it with everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Shanahan. Ms. Revolus.
So, being a tree hugger, I just want to say thank you to everyone and all of you to actually who love and care for making Norwalk a more holistic place overall. And especially now, the one thing, not only for the state sustainability for our lands, but for the cleanliness of our air. If we want to think about breathing right now, putting trees up, not only and beautifies the area, which also clears the mind and creates more mental stabilities. I think once again, this is a beautiful way of pushing for a more holistic Norwalk, especially in the air we breathe. And I just appreciate that you guys take this so seriously.
Thank you. Further
But
discussion.
I act like I'm not here.
Mr. Hovelman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I just, again, want to say thank you to George Serenides and the committee and the work that they've done, and Mr. Sotnick and Ms. Valadorez. I think this is great. Excuse me. Again, and I would like to echo something that Councilmember Keegan said, which is really looking at the urban core areas of our city and bringing these trees into those areas because of beautification, yes, but also what it does for cleaning the air and how it makes us all feel. So kudos to you guys and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hoobelin. Any further comment? Ms. Smith?
Just want to add one thing to, to supporting urban or trees in our urban areas, because studies do show that in the most inner parts of the cities where there is a real lack of tree coverage, is the temperature in the summertime can be as much as 5 degrees or more higher than in other parts of cities. So it's really hugely important.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Ms. Young?
So I hear all this, and I'm very optimistic that we can make some sort of impact in South Norwalk. But I think along with the thinking and the wishing and the hoping that all of us have, the planting of trees are going to go hand in hand with what future development looks like. And so if we aren't mindful of why there are less trees in South Norwalk, then we will continue to make the same mistake, because it's an industrial area. And so within those industrial areas, trees cannot thrive and live, right? And they were torn down. So I think I am so behind this, because I think this might be one of the things to help change the way we think about the development moving forward in South Norwalk. When we talk about South Norwalk, it is a heavily industrialized community. And so you can't have both, right? Not two. I don't know how trees live among that sort of, environment, how well they thrive. And so we just have to be mindful of that. But I'm hoping, Lisa, and with your committee, I thank you for the work that you're doing, and just for all of us being mindful of this, and Mayor, your support of all of this as well. So
Thank you, Ms. Young. Ms. Revelous?
Second everything that Ms. Young said. Part of kind of what I was speaking towards, but not say directly to, is because we are very industrial in District B. One of the differences that I've seen, even driving in areas like C and B and D, is that you do have this feel of overwhelming green, and it does give you a different sense of calm air. Just a different feel, right? And I appreciated it being spoken out, but I do want to just get on your coattail real quick, Ms. Young, because she expressed very much of the mindfulness of the fact that we're just dumping, although historically, but we're dumping a lot of industry onto an area that we keep collecting data on, but not enhancing. So I just want to piggyback on what you said. I appreciate the words said about District B, but intentfulness and mindfulness of that as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Revelous. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would also like to thank Mr. Serenides and Mr. Sotnick for making this happen, and for the rest of the council people for supporting it. If the extension occurs, that's going to be over $650,000 over the next 5 years on trees. And I think it's much needed in the city of Norwalk, not only to maintain our designation as Tree City USA, but to improve upon that and do whatever we can to keep our city as green as we possibly can. So if no further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Mr. Keegan, what was that?
I apologize, Mayor. I was distracted. I vote in favor of it.
I thought so. So let's do that again. All in favor? Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Next, Health and Public Safety, Ms. Smith.
Mr. Sachinelli.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did that last time too. Mr. Sachinelli.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move item 1A and 1B together. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all agreements, documents, or amendments as may be necessary to implement the memorandum of understanding with Stamford, Greenwich, and Darien for the Lower Fairfield County Auto Theft Task Force. And item 1B, authorize the police chief to execute any and all agreements, documents, or amendments that may be necessary to implement the Lower Fairfield County Auto Theft Task Force. These two items are essentially, this is a task force that's going to be put together to support the Lower Fairfield County corridor, specifically focusing on the auto theft in the area. And this is a proactive, this is going to be a proactive task force around education, community outreach, as well as enforcement. And I wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity to highlight this. I commend the police force in doing this intercity task force, and I strongly support these items. We have Deputy Chief Zecca here as well, if there are any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Sacchinelli. Any questions for Deputy Chief Suzeka? Ms. Zecca, if you could give a brief description of what we're doing here.
Again, we're partnering with Stanford, Greenwich, and Darien. As everyone knows, auto theft has been a dramatic problem over the last few years and heightened with COVID. And we want to, one, continue to educate the public. So we're going to do a lot of community outreach in terms of the best prevention is really locking your doors and not leaving valuables in a vehicle, not leaving your keys in the vehicle. So we'll be doing quite a bit of outreach in that way. And then also we'll be working on the juvenile side, since there has been a huge juvenile piece to this, to work with some of the social services to be able to provide better intervention, to hopefully educate to stop these actions.
Thank you very much. Any discussion or comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other motions? Ms. Shanahan.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Ms. Shanahan. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you very much. We are adjourned at 8:40. Thank you, council people.
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everyone.
Night, Mayor. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Guys.
Night.